Hello Mark, I'm Keisha and my school number is 49. Here's the article. Inside India's Big Fat 38 Billion Wedding Market Part 1. On a recent trip to India to explore the country's sizable wedding markets, BOF Editor-in-Chief Imran Ahmed spoke to top designers, show organizers, media executives, and former brides to learn why weddings are such big business in this fast-rising country of 1.2 billion people. New Delhi, India. While the rest of the fashion world may have entered its late summer slumber, India's fashion industry is gearing up for its prime time moment. The unfathomably large, opulent, and over-the-top Indian wedding season. Depending on whose number you believe, there are somewhere between 1 and 10 million weddings in India each year. Last November, on a particularly auspicious date on the Hindu calendar, a staggering 60,000 weddings took place in New Delhi alone, all in one evening, bringing traffic in the city to a standstill. The non-stop nuptial won't begin in earnest until October, when the monsoon rains have disappeared and the summer heat has melted away, reaching a crescendo in November and December, and then again in the spring. But in preparation for this year's wedding bazooka, India's designers have already been meeting with would-be brides and their family at exaggerate bridal fairs and expositions held across the country over the last few weeks. I landed in India just in time to take in the first of two back-to-back fashion weeks in New Delhi, where the country's leading designers show their bridal and couture collection in runway extravaganzas that start with elaborate sets evoking everything from Pompeii at the height of the Roman Empire to Mexico cashmere lotus flowers and end with showstopper runaway appearances by Bollywood's biggest stars. But the designers I spoke to also seem to be charting a long-term course for a wedding market that is showing the early signs of change, after years of heated bridal fever. Opulent events. Each year, around 2,000 high-end weddings take place in India. These are multi-day extravaganzas that defy the Western imagination, complete with pyrotechnics performances by deriding Bollywood actors and international music stars, and thousands upon thousands of invited guests. The Indian wedding is the Indian wedding is the Indian wedding. There is nothing that comes close to it, said superstar fashion designer Rohit Bose over breakfast the day after his bridal show in New Delhi. Where else can you show off your extravagance, your opulence, your wealth? And each year these weddings seem to become more and more over the top, as prominent families aim to outdo each other with even more elaborate events, more exotic destinations, more expensive clothes and fine jewelry. There was one wedding in particular that seemed to be front of mind for many of the people I spoke to. In June 2011, up to 6,000 guests reportedly attended the wedding reception of then 20-year-old Malika Reddy, daughter of a prominent Hyderabadi industrialist, to Siddharth Reddy, session of the Hindu group, an infrastructure and real estate conglomerate, held in an arena next to the Ravi Gandhi International Airport in Hyderabad. A special air taxi service was arranged for VIP guests, including A-list Bollywood stars Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Rani Mukherjee. The three-day event was followed by a grand wedding reception in New Delhi, attended by Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. For India's ultra-high net worth individuals, it seems no gift is too lavish and no event is too opulent during wedding season. Budgets for a high-end Indian wedding can easily reach around 2 million, including the cost of events, travel, food, clothing, and especially jewelry. Each year in India, There are dozens of weddings which cost 10 million or more. Several websites reported that Ready wedding cost more than 1,000 crore rupees, or a staggering 16 million at current exchange rates. Finally, much of this is spent in cash. A lot of our clients have got so much undeclared wealth. Where else will they spend it? Asked Mr. Ball. They have to spend it somewhere, and this is the only place they can spend it. Undisclosed. Chairman of India Bridal Fashion Week concurs. In India, there is a lot of black money, so check writing happen less. Celebrating family alliance. Historically, big Indian weddings were a result of marriages being more of a transaction than a bond of love, says my friend Shahan Levy, a film producer who in March was married to Iroza Bal in a lavish, but by Indian standard, restrained ceremony at the sprawling unmanned behind palace in Jodhpur. Family chose a partner for their children based on economic and social standing, she says. To celebrate this alliance, big celebrations were expected more as a display of wealth and power. There is royalty, then there is old money, then there is new money trying to look like old money. Then there is new money, then there is new money and very new money. Then there is an upper middle class, and everybody wants to move upwards. Even today, Indian weddings are about more than just the nuptial of a bride and a groom. The Maharaj studied this culture. Weddings weren't just about the girl getting married to the boy. It was about one kingdom getting married to another kingdom. Asked Mr. Ball. Today it is one family getting married to another family. It is the amalgamation and merger of two larger business homes. Indeed, the now infamous Ready wedding in Hyderabad was the coming together of two of the city's most prominent industrial families. So while the golden era of Maharaj may have ended, and many Indians now have so-called love marriages, they continue this tradition of opulent weddings for social competition, to enhance social standing in a public show of force. It is this constant class struggle, says its designer Sabasaki Mukherjee, who dressed Miss Levy for her wedding reception and is one of the biggest players in the Indian wedding market. There is royalty, then there is old money, then there is new money trying to look like old money, then there is new money, then there is new money, and very new money. Then there's upper middle class, and everybody wants to move upwards. The world's biggest bridal market. According to Alex Krovila, president of Condé Nast India, the average Indian spent a staggering 1/5 of the wealth accumulated in his lifetime on a son or daughter's wedding, second only to the investment made in the family home. Combine this long-standing tradition with the desire for upward social mobility and a rapidly developing economy, with hundreds of millions of newly affluent consumers entering the market, and you have a wedding business estimated to be worth 38 billion a year, according to figures provided to BOF by Condé Nast India. At current growth rate of 25 to 30% annually, the Indian bridal industry will become the largest wedding market anywhere in the world within 2 years, surpassing the American wedding market, estimated to be worth around 50 billion annually. It is not surprising then that local and international players are trying to get in on the action, and the market is slowly becoming more structured. Mr. Science set up Indian Bridal Fashion Week in Mumbai in 2010, and in the same year a Culture Fashion Week was created under the remit of the Fashion Design Council of India, providing an additional showcase for bridal clothing and jewelry in New Delhi. Up until then, We did not have any platform for showcasing bridal culture in this country, explains Mr. Tsai, whose main business is in the luxury hospitality sector, organizing between 80 and 90 luxury weddings every year. In the last 5 days, more than 1,200 people have visited our exposition, and we have come to know whose wedding is where, when it will take place. This generates a lot of leads for us to convert into luxury weddings. Earlier this year, Condé Nast got into the action too. Mr. Corvilla staged the first ever Vogue wedding show, exhibition and published an accompanying Vogue wedding book, featuring some of the very top names from across the Indian bridal industry. We believe that Vogue has the ability to connect the most affluent Indian families to the best brand in the bridal space, he says, calling it one of the venerable fashion media brand's most innovative brand extensions. A gold rush and cultural level pricing. The single biggest part of the Indian wedding industry is the buying and selling of gold jewelry. India is the biggest consumer of gold in the world, and according to Vipin Sharma, the World Gold Council Director of Jewelry for the Indian market, about 15% of Indian gold demand can be attributed to weddings, which means more than 400 tons of gold is exchanged at weddings in India each year, making it the single largest component of the Indian wedding market, worth around 25 billion a year, about 60% of the total wedding market. Gold is a natural hedge against inflation. It is a luxury product. It is an expression of self in terms of what a bride wants to express as her own identity. And it also has the religious connotation to it and is auspicious, explained Mr. Sharma. But above all, it is a store of wealth. It is a wealth that gets accumulated during weddings, passed down from generation to generation. The sheer scale of gold jewelry at Indian wedding boggles the mind. The bride jewelry at an average high-end wedding in India will have pieces which are 10,000 to 40,000 each, with an overall budget of about 200,000 spent on jewelry alone. If you go to the wedding of ultra-high net worth individuals, jewelry pieces of 5,000 or 1 million would not be surprising, added Mr. Sharma. Likewise, the clothing budget alone for a high-end Indian wedding can easily surpass 5,100, with scores of people to dress from the families of both the bride and the groom for multiple events that can span more than a week. A top-end, heavily encrusted bridal lehenga alone can cost up to 100,000, putting it in the same league as haute couture prices in Paris. If you go to the top 50 designers in India and you look at the main contributors of their business, you will find that 60 to 80% of their business is in bridal culture, says Mr. Tsai. Tomorrow, in part 2 of Inside India Big Fat 38 Billion Wedding Market, we examine the top designers that cater to the country's bridal market, the opportunities for international luxury brands, and the forces set to shape the market in the years to come. Here's the end of the article. Goodbye, Mark.